Hello, my 10th grade health class. I am super excited to introduce this new assignment with you guys. It's something that we've never done before, that I've actually never even implemented into one of my classes before, but I have been doing so much research on different types of group projects, and it's so important, especially for high school students, just like you guys are, to learn how to work with people because, even after you graduate from high school, you're going to go into the real world, could go to college, could go straight into the workforce, and you need to be able to know how to work and communicate with other people in order to, find a solution to a problem or to come up with an idea, build something, anything that takes group work, teamwork. So I think this is a great thing that you guys get to do. I think you're going to be excited for it, and it's called project-based learning, um, which means that you all are going to, explore the answers to the problem. You are going to be the investigators and doing all the research, and like it is going to be you. It's such student-centered learning that you pretty much are grabbing the reins of this, and like you are taking control of your own learning rather than me just, standing up in front of the class giving a boring lecture. Like you are in control of your learning. So I'm super excited to state the lesson, and let's get started with it. So if I can go to the next slide, that would be helpful. There we go. Okay. So looking at all of these standards, just by doing this one group project, guys are going to be covering all of these standards in health and even in fitness too, because like health and fitness go hand in hand. That's why we divide this course in half, so that way we can focus on health for half of the year, and then we can focus on the actual physical education because, like I said, they go hand in hand. So we are going to be discussing, or during your research, you are going to be learning about how health is a part of your entire life, how physical activity can affect your life, nutrition, what you're eating in your body, what you're putting in your body, consumption of foods, what types of foods, how your environment can affect you, your mental health, things like that, emotional health, and just overall your well-being as a human being in your day-to-day life. So based on all of these standards and how we're going to be covering so much just by performing and doing the things in this project, I guess the question you're now asking is, well, what is the problem, Ms. Tab? What are you going to have us researching that is related to health and fitness? And I feel like a couple of you probably already are guessing, some things like, is it like something to do with like, playing sports, or is it like a certain exercise and stuff like that? But it's something that is a lot more common than you think, especially in the US. And I just think it's something that is kind of broad, that can, get you to think of more specific topics to narrow down what you would maybe want your project to be on. So the problem is actually obesity that we're going to look at. So you see this graphic, obesity is the main big red word, but you can see around it there are all of these other different words, because obesity has so many different components of why, people become obese. And, obese, like we've learned in one of the chapters that we went over a few weeks ago, is, someone who is surpassing, being overweight. And we learn how to calculate your BMI, and how, if you're obese, like you are considered having a disability, especially if you're not able to be mobile. People with type 2 diabetes have it, gaining weight, excessive amount of weight, not exercising, not eating right. It can lead to, cancer and stuff like that. So obesity, I thought, was a great topic to introduce you to a project-based learning group activity. So, you're like, why did you, choose this topic, Ms. Tab? Well, because it's super important. Like I said earlier, it affects 35% of the US population, and it affects 30% of people around the entire world. Especially people who are diabetic, they are more prone to become obese, and also the elderly. I mean, you have grandparents who, when they get older, their bones and their muscles get weaker. you know how they say, drink milk when you're younger, so that way like your bones are built up and they'll last, a lifetime, because as you get older, it's just wear and tear on your bones and your muscles just aren't the same. So you don't feel like exercising, your body starts to fatigue, and you just don't want to take care of your body as much, especially when you're like, I lived a long life and I just want to enjoy all those, fatty foods and carbs that I always thought I couldn't have because, I wanted to stay skinny or I wanted to stay thin or fit. And then now you're like, I don't really care about that because you don't have a few more years to live. I want to live my best life. But, a lot of elderly people end up becoming obese because of that factor. So, that's something that's super important, that, you can be affected any time of your life. It just, I guess, all depends on, what part of your life you're in and what's going through, maybe even in your personal life. Um, and that leads me to, some questions that I want y'all to think about on this topic. What route would you and your group members want to go in? And it's going to be three of you in a group working together on this. But, obesity is the overall issue that we're going to be looking at. But what specifically about obesity or something related to obesity would you be interested in researching in and learning more about to have a solution to maybe fix obesity? So some examples I have here are, questions related to this problem. What are the genetics behind obesity? You hear or you see families like, maybe an entire family is obese and it has to do just, with genetics or just how, the kids are raised and how the parents were raised, that, the family just does not, practice eating right or focus on nutrition, counting calories, exercising, stuff like that. Can obesity be cured or prevented? That's a topic to look into. Like, is there even something that you can do about it? Or is it, if you're born with it genetically, then like there's really nothing you can do. How are diet and exercise related to obesity? This one can be, you can learn so much from this, different meal plans, different exercises, which ones might work better to, help prevent it, which ones might help you to beat it. Like, that one is just so broad, and I think that is definitely a great question that you could look at. And then also what some people might not think about is mental health. Depression and bipolar can play a huge part into people who end up becoming obese. And, all up here in your brain, why some people might, not be motivated to exercise or to eat healthy. And, some people turn to food as a comfort, if they're depressed and stuff like that. So that's definitely something you can look into with this problem. What other diseases or health problems can obesity cause? I know, like we've talked about before, how it can strain on the heart and have heart disease, different types of cancers. And then also, who is more prone to obesity and why? That's a very, good question. Like, what type of people, might get it over others? Is it just genetics? Is it, where you're from? Just stuff like that, family history. So these are just some topics based on questions that you can really dive into, and like you can even form your own questions to research. It's up to you. As long as it's related to obesity, it is completely up to you. Like I said, you are in charge of your learning with this, and I support whatever you do. And what I'm about to go over next is how I'm going to check your progress and what exactly you and your group members are going to be asked for in this assignment. So, group project components. So you're going to first, like I said, once you pick your research, like question your specific topic based on obesity, you're going to end up doing a bunch of research. So this is going to be all done, all of these things listed under the project components list that I have on the screen over the course of 6 weeks. So you have some time to really like dig deep into getting this information and having a solid plan of what exactly you want to do. And I have a schedule that I'm going to post in Google Classroom to where you can see it and refer to it whenever you need to. And all the instructions as well. This PowerPoint will go in there as well. All the information that I give you verbally, like it will go in there visually typed out somewhere, I promise. And even the recording of this video as well too. So you're gonna have a research paper. So you need to start researching. You can even interview people, look through the textbook for information, cite your sources. That's very important if you want to go back and look and see where you got stuff to dig a little bit more. Then you're also going to create a product. So let's say, for example, you look at, exercises to possibly like cure or help prevent obesity. Like you might come up with a workout plan and actually like try it out for the next 3 weeks and like grade your progress or your whole group members' progress if it actually made a difference. Like that's a physical like product that you created out of your research topic. And then after you complete your research paper and your product, you are actually going to create a PowerPoint presentation to present it to the entire class. And in the mix of creating those three things, I'm going to ask for reflections from your group to let me know your progress. How are you doing? I want you to propose your ideas to me, and I'll give them the go ahead for you to continue your research to make sure that it's, something that you can really get into that has a lot of depth to it, and it's not just like a one-word answer. And then at the end, after the presentation is presented to the whole class, you will each do a peer review on your group members, and then you will also do a self-reflection on yourself. So I know it seems like a lot, but it really is going to be, I feel like, enjoyable for all of you because like this is something that the more you learn about, the more you can make people aware, and you can even save and change people's lives by this. And they even have that show, I don't know if you've seen it, My 600-Pound Life. These are real people who live with this disease every single day. And maybe if someone would have told them, how they could have prevented this, or told them like maybe you need help, you're just depressed or anything like that, like they would not be living this miserable lifestyle. And it's so hard to get out of it. It's not impossible, but it's just something that not many people can overcome, and it can lead to death. I mean, I know that's harsh, but like that is the truth. And so I just think your motivation for this project is that you can learn so much to find a solution to this problem that you can save someone's, like even one of your family members maybe, or your friend's family member. I know I see obesity all the time growing up with people's family members. So it's not just another project that you have to do because I say so. This is something that relates to this class, of course, and to those standards like I showed at the beginning of the video, but it's also something that you can actually make a difference in the world by just giving someone some more information about this. Like that can go a long way. A lot of people do not know things and then therefore they can't fix it. Knowledge truly is power. So like I said, this will all be posted in Google Classroom. Super excited for you guys to do this, and I hope you're as excited as I am. And yeah, let's just get to it and see what amazing products and presentations and research papers we come up with. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, and good luck on this assignment.